Okay, so I wanted to open it up to any question along the lines of spirituality that you would like to ask to, and I'll do my best to answer. Who wants to go first? Cheryl.
So you know I'm doing this year long.
Yeah, that's good. So for those of you who didn't hear, Cheryl's studying the Enneagram, which is a fascinating thing, and I want you to do a workshop on that here when you're finished with that. But where does the intersection between our spiritual self and our human self and our human relationships, where does that come in, and how do we approach it? Well, first of all, you asked, are we spiritual beings having a human experience, or human beings having a spiritual experience? I definitely am from the thought that we are spiritual beings. And spiritual beings having a human experience, but as Michael Beckwith says, we are spiritual beings transforming human experience. We're here to transform, not just to have the experience, we're here to transform human experience, right? We're here to make a difference and to help consciousness, help to raise the consciousness, right? In all capacities, right? The human world of, the too much plastic in the world, we're here to raise consciousness about that. We're here to raise consciousness about anything that we feel that is unjust or unequal. We're here to raise consciousness about our oneness with each other. That is really the biggest thing. And as I've said here many times, we are multidimensional beings. There's many levels of who we are. We have this physical body, we have a personality, we have this emotional body, and we have a higher kind of intellectual body, and probably many other bodies included in there, but the largest part of who we are is that infinite spiritual self that has decided, that desires to express in a unique way. And that's who you are. That's who you are. That's who we all are. A desire of the universe to be expressed in a beautiful, unique, individual way. And so, do we always live from that awareness? No. No, we don't. But we want to spend time there. We want to develop a relationship with that, and we do that through spiritual practices, through meditation, through affirmative prayer that we're talking a lot about this weekend, through walking in nature, there's many other spiritual practices that we can do. Whatever practice gets your ego mind to be quiet for a little while so that you can feel that larger part of you, that love and that peace just rise up within you. Whatever practice gets you to that place, it's a good one, So we want to incorporate that into our daily routine. And the more and more we nurture that, the more and more that we can live from that place. And we can be that transformational energy. And at the same time, we do have this humanness, right? We have the human emotions. We have our reactions to things. We have places in us that feel kind of not right, that feel off. We've got a shadow self. That's a whole nother talk, a whole nother year to discover the whole thing about the shadow self and how that can affect the way we show up in life. But we want to kind of be present to it and not deny it. See, this is the thing I think that New Thought for many years has, in my opinion, has not been healthy. This whole thing about denying, I don't feel fear, I know my mom, was raised Christian Science, and she would, whenever I would fall down and hurt myself, she would pick me up and she would say, "Oh, no pain, no pain, no pain." right? And I know from her, she was like, I feel bad. I don't want you to feel pain. But for me, it was like, oh, it's wrong for me to feel pain. I shouldn't feel pain. I shouldn't feel that. So now, what kind of relationship now do I have with pain? It's something that shouldn't be, that's something that's wrong, that's something that I need to deny. So anytime that we try to deny our feelings, our emotions, they don't go away, they just get deeper. They bury themselves, and become toxic, and they come out in inappropriate ways. You've seen people who kind of swallow their anger, and pretend that they're not angry, and I'm not going to show my anger. And then something triggers, that just explodes. So what I always kind of recommend is that we are present to our feelings, to our emotions, and we find a healthy way to release it. A healthy way means you're not doing it with somebody else. You're doing it by yourself, and whether that's screaming in the car, or it's screaming into a pillow, or it's beating a pillow, or it's releasing tears and crying. That's healthy. That's healthy. So now it's gone. Now it's released. Now I don't have to bear it. I've recognized it. I'm present to it. I've allowed it to move through me. Now I can move back into my center. I can recalibrate. I can, get back to that spiritual truth of who I am. It's like my dogs. I had 2 dogs. I only have 1 now. But they would occasionally get into a tussle. Or they would try to chase a squirrel and are frustrated in their attempts to do that because I'm not letting them catch it. And so they get, really kind of, this energy. And so how do they release it? They shake, right? You've seen dogs do that. They shake from the tip of their nose all the way down to their tail. It's not that it looks like they're wet and they're trying to, shake off, but they're actually shaking off the energy. And now, once they've done that, well, I'm good again now. I can move on. So that's kind of what we want to think about. So now that we've released it, we can get back to center, breathe, and ask ourselves, I wonder what gave rise to that emotion. I wonder what sort of triggered that. Because that is the best gift that feelings and emotions can give us when we're present to it, is that it can reveal the beliefs behind it. It can reveal where our thinking might be off, right? Why was I done? Why did I get so upset at that person? Why did I let that bother me? Oh, right. It's because I'm believing that I'm separate from them, I've closed off my, whatever it is. If we take it in and ask our inner wisdom, please reveal, where my thinking is off, and we listen to that in the silence, we might be surprised by what comes up. And now we can shift that belief, right? Now we can do something about it. Before, when we didn't know, we can't do anything. You can't heal what you're not aware of. We're going to need to be aware of it and then heal it.
And then
Yeah.
you can take it a step further, side of you.
I love that. That's great. In case you didn't hear it, she's saying that take it a step further and give gratitude for that experience and for the wisdom that's revealed, because now you're one step, you've peeled off another layer of the onion.
And
And allows the healing to begin. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. I think this is a question, that must be why we brought this in. Okay, a question from the live streamers. I understand that how unity is different from, say, traditional Christianity. How does it differ from other New Thought venues? Well, unity grew out of New Thought tradition, New Thought beliefs. How it differs from others. I think they're all sisters. They all are absolutely related. See, I started my spiritual journey in religious science, or science of mind, they're now calling Centers for Spiritual Living. And then I didn't even know anything about unity. When I came to North Carolina, I saw the sign for this, for Unity Church. And I thought, unity, that's right. That's part of the New Thought movement. It's very much like religious science. I think I'll go there. And so when I did, I came in and I was talking about the same thing. It's really the same thing. And here's the thing. Some unity churches or spiritual centers, they're different from each other. They all have a different expression. Some unities rely more on the Bible, and they're a little more Christian-centric. We're more of an interfaith bunch here. We always have been, and I like that. And and I like to see the commonality of different traditions. And when you get to the core of it, you release all of the this religiosity and all the stuff around the religion, and you get to the core of it. It's all the same, right? Yeah. We all want to experience something larger than this little ego self. We all want to experience connection with each other, connection with nature, connection with the universe. That's such a desire. And then it just takes different forms depending upon, what culture you grow up in. Michael, did you have a question? Right. And I'm not going to be able to reword that for the people on the live stream. But the question about, let's take where we are right now with the pandemic, with COVID, and our responsibility to community versus our own personal freedom. I think this, and I kind of anticipated there might be a question about this, because people are saying, well, what is it with this pandemic? What do we need to learn? What is it? What's the lesson here, right? And I've definitely felt that the lesson has shifted. And here's the thing, everything can be valuable for us if we look at it that way. Every experience can be valuable for us. Oh, I wish this wasn't.
The connection in your little thing, this one, want me to look and plug it? That's like a loose line. Sounds like a loose line.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I know that's.
It's plugged in.
No, it's plugged in. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Okay. Okay, thanks. So, in the beginning, what was it? The beginning of 2020, what I felt the lesson that we could learn, not like, and it's not like God is giving us this horrible thing so that we should learn this lesson, It's whatever, it's what happens, and our choice is, what are we going to learn from this? Or are we going to feel that we're victims? I'm this horrible victim to this thing, and I have no choice, and I can't, it's this horrible thing. So that's the first choice. Are we a victim of it, or do we have choice here? Well, in New Thought, we always have choice, and that choice can be, how do we see it, and what kind of lessons are we taking out? So in the beginning, my experience, and it's all individual. Everybody has their own individual way of looking at it and their own individual thing that they may open to learn about this, right, in order to grow. But for me, in the beginning, it was an opportunity to release all the busyness of life and to spend some time in the silence and to spend some time reflecting and recalibrating and looking at different ways of living, different ways of doing things. And we see many people did that, right? Many people decided that, you know what? I'm not going to go back to this soul-sucking job, or I'm not going to continue this relationship that is not healthy. And a lot of people made changes. It feels to me like it was a real opportunity to, to look at things, to reevaluate our lives. So that was good. And I talked about that in the talks that I gave at that time. And then as it began to progress, and it began to spread, and it came back again, I thought, okay, obviously we're not done learning this lesson, or there's something else here. And for me, what I'm getting is that we all need to wake up to the idea that we're all connected, that we're all in community, that our actions have an effect on somebody else. Our decisions and our actions have an effect. It's not just about me, and my comfort, and my personal freedom. We are all connected. And it's just the way the virus spreads, is just such an awareness. It's a wake-up call about how connected we really are. So let's turn this devastating thing into maybe a positive thing. How can we spread the virus of kindness, of compassion, of love to each other? Because that can travel even faster than a virus. So I'm not sure I answered completely there, but it's kind of my take on where we are. And
I do find it kind of ironic that we've spoken for a long time about our breathing as being an example of how connected we are, that we are breathing the same
Oh, yeah.
molecules as Jesus and Buddha and all these
Oh,
other
right,
great
yeah.
people, but we're also breathing the same molecules that have virus that other people
Yes.
breathe, so we should all, we see, that's kind of like the shadow side of it.
Yes, right, exactly. Yeah, that breath is all connected. Yeah, that shadow side, definitely. And also there's what our relationship with the earth and our relationship with Mother Nature, and how we've been living for so long not aware of our connection with it, and putting toxins into our waters and into our earth. That's going to have an effect. So I think part of it, too, is our recognition of our connection and with nature, and honoring and respecting all of life. Yeah, Jackie. That's a very good point. You need to respect your level of consciousness, where you are. We can't, as they say, we can't demonstrate above our level of consciousness. So we need to become aware. Yeah, if you're not walking on water at this point, then you're still living in the physical dimension, and the rules and the way, the laws that the world works. So we need to be aware of that. That's all. And also the collective unconscious, that's part of it. The collective unconscious is that, Carl Jung talked about that, and we're all sort of influenced by it, because it's all of our beliefs and our thoughts from the very beginning kind of all coalesce into one. Now that is evolving, right? The collective unconscious is evolving, and that's, again, brings us back to this spiritual beings transforming human experience. We're here to help evolve it, help evolve the collective unconscious. And the more love, the more awareness, the more connection, the more the way that we live our lives in harmony with the universe and in harmony with our divine wisdom, the more that we are uplifting the vibration of the collective unconscious. And it becomes easier for people to realize who they are. And Katie's asking about the misinformation, disinformation. And, it's coming to a head, isn't it? I mean, it really kind of started in 2016 with the election, the misinformation, disinformation, and then it just kind of began to grow, and conspiracy theories and all of that began to grow. But I think we're becoming, more and more people are becoming aware that there is such disinformation. And if the only blessing in this is that we take a second look at something, or that we connect with our inner wisdom before we, go, oh yeah, it's right, and then we pass it on to all our friends, or we look a little deeper, dig a little deeper, look at the source of something. I think more and more of us are becoming aware of that. And more of us are trying to, steer ourselves away from platforms that might not have the policies in place to stop the spread of the disinformation. So, yeah, that's as much as I can say on that right now. I think if we keep paying attention and we keep taking it into our hearts for ourselves, what is it that I can learn about this? What is it that how can I have this be valuable to me, a valuable lesson? How can I grow as a person given what's happening in the world and my personal experience? The more we ask those questions, the more we're going to grow, and the more peace we're going to find, the more of ourselves we'll grow into, and the more that we can be of service to others in uplifting the collective unconscious. All right, so I think that brings us to the time for now. Thank you for participating in this. I'm always amazed at how much wisdom there is in this room. You guys are a collection of really wise beings. And it's really fun to play in the energy of this and to share ideas. We'll have to do this more often because it's really kind of helpful, I think, to build on each other's ideas and share these things, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, good. All right. Namaste.